But hell does not exist as this place you have fantasized, where you burn in some everlasting fire or exist in some state of everlasting torment. What purpose could I have in that? Even if I did hold the extraordinary, ungodly thought that you did not deserve heaven, why would I have a need to seek some kind of a revenge or punishment for your failing? Wouldn't it be a simple matter for me to just dispose of you? What vengeful part of me would require that I subject you to eternal suffering of a type and at a level beyond description? If you answer the need for justice would not a simple denial of communion with me in heaven serves the end of justice? Is the unending infliction of pain also required? I tell you, there is no such experience after death as you have constructed in your fear based theologies. Yet, there is an experience of the soul so unhappy, so incomplete, so less than whole, so separated from God's greatest joy that to your soul, this would be hell. But I tell you, I do not send you there, nor do I cause this experience to be visited upon you. You yourself create the experience whenever and however you separate yourself from your own highest thought about you. You yourself create the experience whenever you deny yourself, whenever you reject who and what you really are. Yet, even this experience is never eternal. It cannot be, for it is not my plan that you shall be separated from me forever and ever. Indeed, such a thing is an impossibility, for to achieve such an event, not only would you have to deny who you are, I would have to as well. This I will never do. So, as long as one of us holds the truth about you, the truth about you shall ultimately prevail. But if there is no hell, does that mean I can do what I want, act as I wish, commit any act without fear of retribution? It is fear that you need in order to be, do, and have what is intrinsically right. Must you be threatened in order to be good? And what is being good? Who gets to have the final say about that? Who sets the guidelines? Who makes the rules? I tell you this, you are your own rule maker. You set the guidelines and you decide how well you have done, how well you're doing. For you are the one who has decided who and what you really are and who you want to be. And you are the only one who can assess how well you're doing. No one else will judge you ever. For why and how could God judge God's own creation and call it bad? If I wanted you to be and do everything perfectly, I would have left you in a state of total perfection whence you came. The whole point of the process for you to discover yourself, create yourself as you truly are and as you truly wish to be. Yet you could not be that unless you also had a choice to be something else. Should I therefore punish you for making a choice that I myself have laid before you? If I did not want you to make the second choice, why would I create other than the first? This is a question you must ask yourself before you would assign me the role of a condemning God. The direct answer to your question is yes. You may do as you wish without fear of retribution. It may serve you, however, to be aware of consequences. Consequences are results, natural outcomes. These are not at all same as retributions or punishments. Outcomes are simply that. They are what results from the natural application of natural laws. They are that which occurs quite predictably as a consequence of what has occurred. All physical life functions in accordance with natural laws. Once you remember these laws and apply them, you have mastered life at a physical level. What seems like punishment to you, or what you would call evil or bad luck, is nothing more than a natural law asserting itself. So what exactly is the law that we're talking about here now? So before we get to the law, it's interesting to see and note what God is mentioning here to the author is each and everything that is coming in your space, you are the one who is judging it against your own rules. And your rules are part of your, total upbringing, your conditioning, and your beliefs, your patterns, belief systems, each and everything. उसी से आपने rules बना लिए हैं और वो rules आपके हैं. They are not universal laws or universal rules. They are rules made by you based on your upbringing, based on your belief patterns, and based on your programming and conditioning. And the beauty is that we judge others based on our rules, not universal rules. I remember I shared one of my lifetime experiences. So I still am very, particular about time. So if there is a meeting and I have to be on time, I'll probably be 5 minutes early than be late. So ये एक belief pattern चल रहा है, work में भी, काम में भी, functions में भी. When I got married, it was the other way around. So instead of me being the first to go and being on time, I was always the last. And somehow not a very cordial time with the wife at that time, Ruchi. Chalo, somehow I made peace with it, started doing something else, started saying to myself, everything will happen at the right time. Things will happen at the right time. Probably we'll move out of the house at the right time. अपने आप को आज बड़ा अच्छा सा लेक्चर देके शांत करा बेटा. Nice. बट वो रूल मेरा बनाया था बिकॉज माई अपब्रिंगिंग हैड इट की टाइम पे जाना बहुत जरूरी है. इफ यू डू नाउ द बिलीफ वाज if you do not respect time, time will not respect you. So up to 40 years, I would say not 40, from 8 to 30, 40, 32 years, I have lived with that belief, that if you do not respect time, time will not respect you. And I was in Bombay for a alternative healing modality conference, and the guy who was the speaker said something about time which blew my mind away. He says, what is time? Break the word. It's a 4-letter word. Break the word time into 2 words. TI is the first part and ME is the second part. So what is the definition of time? Tie me. Why are you tying yourself unnecessarily when you can be free? That day, it changed my belief. So it took 32 years for me to change that belief. And then I realized, okay, why am I tying myself? Why am I being so okay? You want to be on time? Good. But somehow, even if it gets late, it's okay. There's no harm. But the concept, what I'm trying to explain is, वो मेरा बनाया, मेरा बिलीफ सिस्टम था, एंड मैं अपने बिलीफ सिस्टम में लोगों को इवैल्यूएट कर रहा हूं. हेलो, you cannot expect people to apply your rules because they have been your part of upbringing, your part of, you know, the belief patterns and the system and the programming. It's yours. You cannot judge the others based on your rules. What God is trying to tell you is you can always have laws of nature. Things can always be judged or compared if you have to, based on natural laws. Now, natural laws are basic: law of gravity, Newton's laws. You know, equal action has equal and opposite reaction. That's a natural law. Physics का law बना हुआ है. So अगर आप किसी के साथ बुरा करोगे तो आपको भी बुरा ही मिलेगा. That's a natural law. That's not a belief. That's how nature works. So rather than judging people, comparing people, and evaluating people based on your set of rules, which are not reality, by the way. So, you know, दूसरों को अपने rules में judge करने से better है, just let them be. It's okay. They have their own choices. But yes, there are rules, natural laws, if you want to, you know, ever consider. But अपने rules के base पे लोगों को judge कर रहे हो, उनका opinion form कर रहे हो, उस basis पे situation को label कर रहे हो, whether this is good or bad, not right. I mean, not right. I mean, it's funny actually. मेरे rules जो कि मैंने लोगों को बताया ही नहीं है, और मैं कह रहा हूं मैं तेरे को इसी में नंबर दूंगा. हेलो, then if it were to know these laws and obey them, I would never have a moment's trouble again. Is that what you're trying to tell me? You would never experience yourself as being in what you call trouble. You would not understand any life situation to be a problem. You would not encounter any circumstance with trepidation. You would put an end to all worry, doubt, and fear. You would live as you fantasize Adam and Eve lived, not as disembodied spirits in the realm of the absolute, but as embodied spirits in the realm of the relative. Yet, you would have all the freedom, all the joy, all the peace, and all the wisdom, understanding, and power of the spirit you are. You would be a fully realized being. This is the goal of your soul. This is its purpose, to fully realize itself while in the body, to become the embodiment of all that it really is. This is my plan for you. This is my ideal, that I should become realized through you, that thus concept is turned into experience, and that I might know myself experientially. The laws of the universe are laws that I laid down. They are perfect laws creating perfect function of the physical. Have you ever seen anything more perfect than a snowflake? Its intricacy, its design, its symmetry, its conformity to itself, and originality from all else, all are a mystery. You wonder at the miracle of this awesome display of nature. Yet, if I can do this with a single snowflake, what think you I can have done with the universe? Were you to see the symmetry of it, the perfection of its design from the largest body to the smallest particle, you would not be able to hold the truth of it in your reality. Even now, as you get glimpses of it, you cannot yet imagine or understand its implications, yet you can know there are implications far more complex and far more extraordinary than your present comprehension can embrace. Your Shakespeare said it wonderfully. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. So now God is clearly mentioning the purpose of the soul. And the true purpose of all souls on planet Earth is self-realization. And once you realize who you truly are, there comes the God realization. So realizing who we truly are, that means, getting it away from the mind, from the body, and, getting in touch with that witness inside of us who's seeing everything, observing everything, and realizing who we truly are paves in the way to realize about the presence of the God inside all of us. So the journey of the soul, or the purpose of the soul on planet Earth, is self-realization to God realization. So realize who we truly are by discarding the mind, discarding the body, get in touch with your true self, and then through that, get in touch with the God present inside you, which is present and common in all of us present here. Then how can I know about these laws? How can I learn them? It's not a question of learning, but of remembering. How can I remember them? Begin by being still. Quiet the outer mind so that the inner world might bring you sight. This insight is what you seek. Yet you cannot have it while you are so deeply concerned with your outer reality. Seek, therefore, to go within as much as possible. And when you are not going within, come from within as you deal with the outside world. Remember the axiom: if you do not go within, you go without. Put it in the first person as you repeat it to make it more personal. If I do not go within, I go without. You have been going without all your life, yet you have yet you do not have to and never did. There is nothing you cannot be, there is nothing you cannot do, there is nothing you cannot have. That sounds like a pie in the sky promise. What other kind of promise would you have God make? Would you believe me if I promised you less? For thousands of years, people have disbelieved the promises of God for the most extraordinary reason: they were too good to be true. So you have chosen a lesser promise, a lesser love. For the highest promise of God proceeds from the highest love. Yet you cannot conceive of a perfect love, and so a perfect promise is also inconceivable, as is a perfect person. Therefore, you cannot believe even in yourself. Failing to believe in any of the means failure to believe in God. For belief in God produces belief in God's greatest gift, unconditional love, and God's greatest promise, unlimited potential. May I interrupt you here? I hate to interrupt God when he's on a roll, but I've heard this talk of unlimited potential before, and it doesn't square with the human experience. Forget the difficulties encountered by the average man. What about the challenges of those born with mental or physical limitations? Is their potential unlimited? You have written so in your own scripture in many ways and in many places. Give me one reference. Look, to see what you have written in Genesis chapter 11, verse 6 of your Bible. It says, and the Lord said, behold, the people are one, and they have all one language, and this is only the beginning of what they will do. And now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. Yes. Now, can you trust that? This does not answer the question of the feeble, the infirm, the handicapped, those who are limited. Do you think they are limited? As you put it, not of their choice. Do you imagine that a human soul encounters life challenges, whatever they may be, by accident? Is this your imagining? Do you mean a soul chooses what kind of life it will experience ahead of time? No, that would defeat the purpose of the encounter. The purpose is to create your experience and thus create yourself in the glorious moment of now. You do not, therefore, choose the life you will experience ahead of time. You may, however, select the persons, places, and events, the conditions and the circumstances, the challenges and obstacles, the opportunities and options with which to create your experience. You may select the color of your palette, the tools for your chest, the machinery for your shop. What you create with these is your business. That is the business of life. Your potential is unlimited in all that you've chosen to do. Do not assume that a soul which has incarnated in a body which you call limited has not reached its full potential. For you do not know what the soul was trying to do. You do not understand its agenda. You are unclear as to its intent. Therefore, bless every person and condition and give thanks. Thus you affirm the perfection of God's creation and show your faith in it. For nothing happens by accident in God's world, and there is no such thing as coincidence, nor is the world buffeted by random choice or something you call fate. If a snowflake is utterly perfect in its design, do you think the same could be said about something as magnificent as your life? But even Jesus healed the sick. Why would he heal them if their condition was so perfect? Jesus did not heal those he healed because he saw their condition was imperfect. He healed those he healed because he saw those souls asking for healing as part of their process. He saw the perfection of the process. He recognized and understood the soul's intention. Had Jesus felt that all illnesses, mental or physical, represented imperfection, would he not have simply healed everyone on the planet all at once? Do you doubt that he could do this? You know, when we are born, it's not necessary, whatever condition the soul takes the birth on planet Earth is definitely pre-decided. Circumstances, parents, especially mother, that's chosen by the soul. But the interesting part is, why would somebody choose a body which is disabled? Why would somebody choose a body where there are going to be so many difficulties involved? As a normal human being, if we talk, would we like to choose that experience if it's given to us that this is a choice you make? Because at the end of the day, entire destiny is a set of consequences, And all consequences come from the choices we make. You make a choice, there is a consequence, that's part of your destiny. You change the choice, the consequence changes, your destiny changes. So why would the soul choose such an experience, probably in a body which is disabled, probably a body where it is, affected by autism or any other physical disorder of that sort, or a mental disorder? Because in the entire spectrum of experiences which the soul wants, he has to complete the rainbow. In order for the soul to progress, he has to have all experiences. So it's quite common that people present here would have had different lifetimes where, yes, we would have been physically challenged, physically disabled, mentally challenged, mentally disabled. It's not something which is not possible. It's very much possible. But the interesting part, how it works, I don't know if you are in, anybody of you have been in close touch with people who are, physically disabled or mentally disabled. If God takes away something, for example, if the person has no legs, no arms, whatever is the issue, I'm not getting into details, he will give superpowers to some other part of the body, which will be phenomenal. And it's like if your legs are not working, you will have, uh, a very sharp brain, you will have an excellent memory, anything. So the entire strength of the legs, which are not there, part of your experience, would be given to you in order to compensate by the God to some other organ of the body. So if you actually interact with these disabled people, they have certain skills which are par excellence, much more than an average human being. हम लोग कहते हैं ना that we are the privileged one, but हमारे पास हर चीज normal category में है, उनके पास एक par excellence होती है. That is why they are different. And that is why one of the reasons the soul actually chooses that experience, because in that way, he gets a par excellence experience in a particular thing. And he also gets the experience of living with pain and living with a disability and getting that experience back to the source. Good. No, I believe he could have. Good. Then the mind begs to know, why did he not do it? Why would the Christ choose to have some suffer and others be healed? For that matter, why does God allow any suffering at any time? This question has been asked before, and the answer remains the same. There is perfection in the process, and all life arises out of choice. It is not appropriate to interfere with choice, nor to question. It is particularly inappropriate to condemn it. What is appropriate is to observe it and then to do whatever might be done to assist the soul in seeking and making a higher choice. Be watchful, therefore, of the choices of others, but not judgmental. Note that their choice is perfect for them in this moment now, yet stand ready to assist them should the moment come when they seek a newer choice, a different choice, a higher choice. Move into communion with the soul of others, and their purpose, their intention will be clear to you. This is what Jesus did with those he healed and with all those whose lives he touched. Jesus healed all those who came to him and who sent others to him, supplicating for them. He did not perform a random healing. To have done so would have been to violate a sacred law of the universe. Allow each soul to walk its path. But does that mean we must not help anyone without being asked? Surely not. Or we would never be able to help the starving children of India, or the tortured masses of Africa, or the poor or the downtrodden anywhere. All humanitarian effort would be lost, all charity forbidden. Must we wait for an individual to cry out to us in desperation, or for a nation of people to plead for help before we are allowed to do what is obviously right? You see, the question answers itself. If a thing is obviously right, do it. But remember to exercise extreme judgment regarding what you call right and wrong. A thing is only right or wrong because you say it is. A thing is not right or wrong intrinsically. It isn't. Rightness or wrongness is not an intrinsic condition. It is a subjective judgment in a personal value system. But your subjective judgments, do you create yourself by your personal values? Do you determine and demonstrate who you are? The world exists exactly as it is so that you may make these judgments. If the world existed in perfect condition, your process of self-creation would be terminated. It would end. A lawyer's career would end tomorrow were there no more litigation. A doctor's career would end tomorrow were there no more illnesses. A philosopher's career would end tomorrow were there no more questions. And God's career would end tomorrow were there no more problems. Precisely, you have put it perfectly. We, all of us, would be through creating were there nothing more to create. We, all of us, have a vested interest in keeping the game going. Much as we all say we would like to solve the problems, we dare not solve all the problems, or there will be nothing left for us to do. Your industrial military complex understands this very well. This is why it opposes, mightify any attempt to install a war no more government anywhere. Your medical establishment understands this too. This is why it staunchly opposes it must. It has, for its own survival, a new miracle drug or cure, to say nothing of the possibility of miracles themselves. Your religious community also holds this clarity. This is why it attacks uniformly any definition of God which does not include fear, judgment, and retribution, and any definition of self which does not include their own idea of the only path to God. If I say to you, you are God, where does that leave religion? If I say to you, you are healed, where does that leave science and medicine? If I say to you, you shall live in peace, where does that leave the peacemakers? If I say to you, the world is fixed, where does that leave the world? What now of plumbers? The world is filled with essentially two kinds of people: those who give you things you want, or those who fix things. In a sense, even those who simply give you things you want, the butchers, the bakers, the candlestick makers, are also fixers. For to have a desire for something is often to have a need for it. This is why addicts are said to need a fix. Be careful, therefore, that desire not become addiction. Are you saying the world will always have problems? Are you saying that you actually want it that way? I am saying that the world exists the way it is, just as the snowflake exists the way it exists, quiet by design. You have created it that way, just as you have created your life exactly as it is. I want what you want. The day you really want an end to hunger, there will be no more hunger. I have given you all the resources with which to do that. You have all the tools with which to make that choice. You have not made it, not because you cannot make it. The world would end world hunger tomorrow. You choose not to make it. That you claim that there are good reasons that 40,000 people a day must die of hunger. There are no good reasons. Yet, at a time when you say you can do nothing to stop 40,000 people a day from dying of hunger, you bring 50,000 people a day into your world to begin a new life. And this you call love. This you call God's plan. It's a plan which totally lacks logic or reason, to say nothing of compassion. I am showing you in stark terms that the world exists the way it exists because you have chosen for it. You are systematically destroying your own environment, then pointing to so called natural disasters as evidence of God's cruel hoax or natural harsh ways. You have played the hoax on yourself, and it is your ways which are good. Nothing is more gentle than nature, and nothing has been more cruel to nature than man. Yet you step aside from all involvement in this, deny all responsibility. It is not your fault, you say. And in this, you are right. It is not a question of fault, it is a matter of choice. You can choose to end the destruction of your rainforest tomorrow. You can choose to stop depleting the protective layer hovering over your planet. You can choose to discontinue the ongoing slaughter of your Earth's ingenious ecosystem. You can seek to put the snowflake back together, or at least to halt its inexorable melting. But will you do it? You can simply end all war tomorrow. Simply, easily, all it has ever taken is for all of you to agree. Yet, if you cannot all agree on something as basically simple as ending the killing of each other, how can you call upon the heavens with shaking fist to put your life in order? I will do nothing for you that you will not do for yourself. This is the law and the prophets. The world is the condition it is in because of you and the choices you have made or failed to make. Not to decide is to decide. The earth is in the shape it's in because of you and the choices you have made or failed to make. Your own life is the way it is because of you and the choices you have made or failed to make. And in this recent time, I think everybody got a glimpse of what is that we all have done. And when the COVID came in, everybody locked down, ghar pe baithe hain, realized number one, the value of family. Second, big realization, they realize the value of nature. Third, very important, they realize the value of home food. नहीं तो every day was about eating out, dining out, calling Zomato, family hai, nahi hai. I mean, I don't know about others, but yes, I can vouch for myself and my family. The time, the good quality family time I have spent with my family in COVID, not in my entire 40 years or 38 years. So what was this? Family तो पहले भी थी, मैं भी वहीं था, कहीं गए नहीं हम तो उधर ही थे. But God made us realize that what you are is a result of your choices. So he played a nice trick by making certain choices compulsory so that you could not move out. You had to be at home. You had to spend time with your family. You had to be at home. You had to have home food and, enjoy what was truly, there, for which we had actually taken it for granted, including family, including nature, and including a lot of other things. I mean, somehow I always feel COVID is a blessing in disguise. The way it shifted everybody's thought process, particularly I can, say for me, the way it shifted my thought process, I mean, it was a God calling. Probably things would have been the way they were. It would have not come to our vicinity, come to our space that, this also is there. This also is possible. But yeah, it was a good compulsive choice which we had to make. And yes, I'm glad I made it, and I'm glad all the others who really realized the value of this. So life में जो भी हो रहा है, it's not that God is doing it. He just made you. उसके बाद आपकी choices है. अगर आप एक choice कर रहे हो और उसका कुछ result आ रहा है, so that is part of your process of creation. And that consequence is part of your entire destiny. Very interesting, somebody was sharing with me, if you talk about English language, so there are alphabets. So life is a journey from letter B to letter D, where B is your birth and D is your death. And B and D are not in your control. And your control, your C, is only on the choice you make. And that decides your entire lifespan of how is it going to be. So please make the choice. If it's working and if it's making you at ease, it's a good choice, preferred choice. If not, change it. It's a choice. A lot of people think that, no, we do not have this choice. You're wrong. Socho to say, think out of the box. You have a choice. You have a choice in everything you do. You have a choice to switch on and enter the session. You had that choice. You made that choice. You had the choice of not joining. So everything in life is about your choice. So please choose your choices nicely. That's going to, get the consequence and then shape your destiny. But I did not choose to get hit by that truck. I did not choose to get mugged by that robber or raped by that maniac. People could say that. There are people in the world who could say that. You are all at root cause for the conditions which exist, which create in the robber the desire or the perceived need to steal. You have all created the consciousness which makes rape possible. It is when you see in yourself that which caused the crime that you begin at last to heal the condition from which it sprang. Feed your hungry, give dignity to your poor, grant opportunity to your less fortunate, end the prejudice which keeps masses huddled and angry with little promises of a better tomorrow. Put your pointless taboos and restrictions upon sexual energy. Rather, help others to truly understand its wonder and to channel it properly. Do these things and you will go a long way towards ending robbery and rape forever. And for the so-called accident, the truck coming around the bend, the brick falling from the sky, learn to greet Greet each such incident as a small part of a larger mosaic. You have come here to work out an individual plan for your own salvation. Yet, salvation does not mean saving yourself from the snares of the devil. There is no such thing as the devil, and hell does not exist. You are saving yourself from the oblivion of non realization. You cannot lose in this battle, you cannot fail. Thus, it is not a battle at all, but simply a process. Yet, if you do not know this, you will see it as a constant struggle. You may even believe in the struggle long enough to create a whole religion around it. This religion will teach that struggle is the point of it all. This is a false teaching. It is not in not struggling that the process proceeds, it is in surrendering that the victory is won. Accidents happen because they do. Certain elements of the life process have come together in a particular way at a particular time with particular results. Results which you choose to call unfortunate for your own particular reasons. Yet they may not be fortunate at all given the agenda of your soul.